Hello and welcome to the One Marketing Thing podcast. And today, my special guest is Abby Ruffier, and her topic, Principles of Human Psychology to Create More Effective Digital Marketing, is what we'll be talking about today. Hello again, everyone. I'm your host, Antoinette Blake, and you are watching the One Marketing Thing podcast. Now, we started this podcast for digital marketers to provide them with expert advice from industry leaders, veterans, and those with decades of experience. And I have one of those leaders. And Abby, she's going to be discussing principles of human psychology to create more effective digital marketing. In other words, how do we get people to make those purchasing decisions? Abby, welcome to the One Marketing Thing podcast. And before we begin, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I've been working in marketing in some capacity, like you said, for the last decade, but just recently, since the pandemic, got into the digital marketing side, since everything switched over as far as all of our different needs. And yeah, no, I'm just really excited to be here.
And so you talked about the pandemic, and we were separated from one another. Now,
Mm-hmm.
human psychology, as humans, we're used to connecting, talking, touching, holding, but now it's a different world. How is that affecting us for marketing?
And I think people are shifting the way they buy things. I think everything is shifting to the e-commerce world, and we have to be able to create that human experience without seeing people as much. So the way that we're designing web pages is changing. The way that we're, advertising our products is changing. So, and we're trying to adapt our websites to make up for that human contact that we're missing.
So, what are some of the things as a new marketer, someone that may be new to the game that does not have the experience that you had? Because obviously you've seen these transitions, you've seen the evolution, you've seen the changes. But let me ask you this. But let me ask you this question first. With the evolution from the beginning to the, what's the biggest change that you've noticed pre-pandemic, and then we'll talk post-pandemic.
So I think for me, the biggest thing is noticing how impatient we've all gotten. So the way that we design websites now has to be cutting to the chase a little bit more. So I remember one of the things that we used to do for SEO was you would just really make sure that keyword was in there. And that was the main thing. You really wanted to, whatever that magic keyword was, you just wanted to make sure it was in your text as much as possible. What we have discovered is people don't want to read any of that. So if you're writing a blog that is, full of keyword rich, as we would say, but not full of anything useful, people are going to click right off that page. And if your website is running slowly, people are going to click right off that page. If things are not intuitive when people get to your website, people are just going to click right off. So really, I think the biggest thing that makes a difference when you're trying to attract customers digitally is just making it easy, taking the thinking out of it, and just making sure that people can get to your product as quickly as possible and make it make sense.
The KISS concept.
Exactly. Yes, like just get rid of all the obstacles to making that sale. So it's not just about leading them in the right direction. It's just making sure that they don't get there with any obstacles in their way.
And I'm thinking about when I first started blogging in 2012. That was the thing. Make sure you've got the keywords. Make sure that the site loads fast. Make sure you've got the headers and all of that. But most importantly is images and videos, which now I think is even more important post pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and Google has certainly taken notice of that too, definitely anytime you put, the main feature of a page is a video, you're going to see that in your rankings, SEO wise as well. But yeah, I think one of the things that we're noticing too is people are also starting to search on TikTok and not just on
Mhm.
Google. So if people want a recipe, they're not going to, we all joke about those recipe articles where you have to read the whole life story before you actually get to the recipe. People are getting impatient, so they want to go on TikTok and they want to see someone complete a simple recipe in a few simple steps. So
And in talking about, the TikTok and the Snapchat and YouTube and, YouTube University was where we went to learn everything. And now, TikTok is where we go to learn everything, but much at a faster
bite
speed.
size, yeah.
But
Hmm.
what I do like is that they're real people. Like we like seeing real people, right?
Definitely. No, and I think that's another thing we've started noticing. If you are the author of the article and you can't put a bio on your page to show why you're the expert and why you have a right to be writing about this, that's going to hurt your rankings too. So, yeah, be showing that you are a real person, showing that you are educated on the topic you're writing about is very important. Building
Or
that
if you're
trust.
not and you make a mistake, to be honest about it.
Exactly. Yeah, and if you make any changes to that article, make sure you're letting people know. So, yeah, it's just really building that trust because, yeah, like you said, we are really, and some of the things from the pandemic is stuck. Most of us are working remote still. So, yeah, we really have to prove that we're human when we're connecting with customers digitally.
And I've noticed that more so now, I've seen the evolution of big business when the internet, when the horse first, was out of the gate, big
Hmm.
business, Fortune 500, Fortune 100, they weren't embracing social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like smaller business owners, entrepreneurs were doing. But now I'm seeing, and you let me know if I'm correct in this, they are becoming more humanized, more, you're seeing everyone. You're seeing black, white, yellow, pink, green, big hair, short hair, no hair, and it's like, hey, we are a multi, cultural society. So we've got to capture, I used to tease people like, it's no longer just the blue eyes and blonde hair. We have to see everyone. I mean, am I correct in that?
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the interesting things, we're all kind of noticing the AI revolution happening. So one of the things that we have to teach, these new bots that are, slowly learning and just, trying to become as good as we are as humans is we have to teach them that there is diversity, that if you're showing them a picture of people at a party and all the people in that picture are just, blonde haired, blue eyed people, that's what we're teaching these machines. So we have to be able to make sure that we have real people in all of our advertising. So we can have representation of all the different people that are already important in the world, but also so we can teach these tools to recognize humanity and recognize diversity.
And that's very important. I mean, even as a individual solopreneur, when I'm creating content and graphics, if I'm specific in what I want, what picture I want, I will literally type all of that in, and it has to be available. And if it's not, it used to frustrate me, but now
Mhm.
it's available. So so the bottom line is for digital marketers to really get into the human psychology, right? So how does that, what's that partnership look like for a new digital marketer?
I think so keywords are still important to a certain extent, but I think the most important thing is making sure that you are matching that keyword intent when you're doing your research. So not only, yes, this is the specific word that people are looking for while they're trying to find your article potentially, but also make sure you know why they're searching for that keyword. Are they searching for information? Are they ready to buy right now? And just really tailoring your content to make sure you're meeting that need.
And so, thinking about now post pandemic, what kind of frightens me is the lack of the human connection. I talk about the pandemic babies, and they're not babies, babies. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's that generation where they've been isolated. Um, how are they going to be able to navigate as they continue on in their field to be able to connect in a human, in H to H manner? I mean, what things should they be working on? I mean, because AI is here. It's not going anywhere. It's another one
Mhm.
of that, another horse is out of the gate. It's out there. So what are
Mhm.
your, what the human psychology, how are we making them understand that they still have to talk to people and connect with people and, you know, understand people?
I think that one of the best ways to learn is to make mistakes.
Yes.
And you're right, especially as new people enter the workforce, you're going to be kind of shoved into a situation that's unfamiliar. And especially if you were already in school when the pandemic happened and all of your classes switched to online and you didn't get to see, the environment of a classroom and see that there's one person leading the way and how does everyone else behave when they're in this setting. I think it's our responsibility as leaders to give people these skills and just be clear about what our expectations are. But also, if, our new generation of marketers comes in and you make mistakes, don't stop trying just because you made that mistake. Just learn from your environment, sponge everything up, and just keep getting better every day.
And that is so true. I love that, Abby, because it's, don't let the mistakes stop you, because I think mistakes are, they're learning. They're you know as I always tell people, a setback is a setup for something better. So you got it
Hmm.
messed up. Okay, so take that, turn it into a positive and keep going. And don't let the imposter syndrome and all that other spooky stuff, other those other catchwords, stop you from doing that. Because again, we are human. We'll always be human. We'll always, be connected. And I think that in digital marketing, when you have a product or a service, you want to present it in a way, because people buy with emotions, right?
Hmm. Absolutely.
So you got to be able to touch here before you can touch that wallet, because those days of simply, going to a store and buying a product is gone, because now we can research it, right? We've got
Hmm.
technology right in our hands. So we don't have to be satisfied with the first thing that pops up. We can research and find something better. And, there's always something bigger, better, and faster out there. So as a marketer, you want to, get into their human side and make them feel good so that they'll spend their money.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that there's also so much more competition online anymore. There's a million people that want to do better than you and can't, maybe they can, maybe they can't, or maybe their marketing is just better than yours. So you always have to be watching everything that's happening, and you always have to make sure that you are standing out, and being more human is really going to be the most competitive thing you can do, especially as everything switches over to the machine learning side of things. So
So I'm loving everything that you're saying. I mean, so if you could leave us with some, tips or just, words of wisdom on how, the principles of human psychology is going to make us better, have a more effective digital marketing campaign, what would it be?
I think at the end of the day, and I think this is just, good life advice, everyone that you run into is just trying to get their needs met. So whether that, no matter how they react, usually it's because they're not getting their needs met. If they react in a negative way, if they if you can be the approach of, if you can take the approach of being of service and being willing to help people meet their needs and really genuinely caring about meeting that need, I think it's just going to come out in your copywriting. It's going to come out in your social media posts. It's going to come out in your blogging. So just go out there, figure out how you can be of service, let customers' negative experiences teach you about what can happen if you're not meeting people's needs. So,
I
but yeah,
love that. Be of service. We should all think about what it is that we can serve, that what is it that we can help someone else,
exactly.
achieve. And it's sometimes not, about the dollars and the cents. It's just about being of service. I love that, Abby. I really love that.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
see, that's why we have these experts on, this one marketing thing podcast. If there's one marketing thing that each of my guests can give, these gems are just so wonderful. Abby, I truly appreciate you. I'm learning lessons every time I speak with you. Digital marketing is transferring, and as it continues to go, I would love for you to come back and we talk about something else, because life lessons, learning lessons in digital marketing is so important. So thank you so much for giving us just a few minutes of your time today.
Thank you so much. It's been great speaking with you.
And if you guys have questions for Abby or questions about the show, please send an email to editor@passionatemarketers.com. And we want to thank Abby, and we want to thank our sponsor, Propel. Propel is a unique review automation and management platform. They're the #1 tool that helps businesses convert website visitors into paying customers. So we want to thank Abby, and we want to thank Propel. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in today to the One Marketing Thing podcast.